Welcome back. Last Tuesday, late Tuesday that would be, Foreign Minister Park Jin and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi sat down for talks in Qingdao. For more on their interaction and its implications, I have Doctor Ban Kil-joo at Inha Center for International Studies live on the line. Dr. Ban, it's good to have you with us.
Hello, good afternoon.
Right, Dr. Ban, talks between Park Jin and Wang Yi lasted for almost 4 hours, I believe, as opposed to the initially planned 2 hours. Now, let's begin with your thoughts on the extended exchange between these two diplomats.
I would say that this meeting serves as a positive sign in 3 aspects. First of all, regarding your direct question, the longer hours of talks mean that they exchanged their opinions in a more sincere and relevant way, simply beyond the implication that they met symbolically. Mr. Park and Wang must have other busy schedules, so their schedules might have to be changed due to this extended exchange. So this extended exchange implies that the other party is so important to both countries, so that they are willing to change their original timetable. In this regard, I would say it looks like a favorable sign. Second, more importantly, this bilateral meeting is more meaningful in terms of the current international situation. The new Cold War mechanism actually has been bolstering international politics, which compels a country to be on a specific side. This meeting happened amid this more seriously divided war. So I would say both countries mutually understood the need to be more cooperative in this worsening international situation. Minister Park's visit looks designed to stress the current new colder situation, not as a matter of being cited, but as an error to require more communication. Third, the extended meeting this time could serve as a favorite sign to upgrade the relations between Seoul and Beijing as part of the effort to commemorate the special year 2022 for the two countries' relations. It has been 30 years since South Korea and China formally established diplomatic relations in 1992. So all in all, the extended meeting could be a meaningful momentum to make the current relations, which is a strategic cooperative partnership, more viable.
Right. And Dr. Ban, in a statement following the bilateral talks, Foreign Minister Park Jin highlighted the importance of national interests in seeking collaboration with China based on mutual respect and common grounds. How do you interpret his words?
Well, I would say that mutual respect stresses South Korea's status as an equal partner to China, as well as key countries around the world. Regarding common gains, South Korea seems to stress that equal and fair partnership helps both countries achieve their individual national interests. In more specific, mutual respect is not a simple or temporary word for this meeting, but serve as a key discourse to define the new ROC-China relations under the current Yoon government. In particular, mutual respect means each party should respect the other party's sovereignty. If then, why does Seoul raise this discourse of mutual respect? This discourse means that China did not respect South Korea's sovereign matters in the past. That retaliation could be a typical example. Likewise, what Beijing asks Seoul to abandon free notes, as a reporter pointed out earlier a minute ago, related to that, is seen as a behavior to intervene in South Korea's sovereignty. Second, common gains appear to stress that the cooperation between Seoul and Beijing matters to maximize their individual national interests, as well as international and regional security. For example, the denuclearization of North Korea could serve as one of the common gains. So Seoul is expected to ask Beijing to put more emphasis on stopping Pyongyang's provocations and denuclearizing North Korea.
Right. Dr. Ban, China's Wang Yi, for his part, in a statement, called for efforts to ensure a steady supply chain, one that is free from external influence, as South Korea and China have endured their fair share of challenges. Again, what is your take on his remarks?
China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi's comments could be seen as a signal that South Korea should not be tilted to the United States. In the wake of the recent supply chain crisis and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, economic security has become a key discourse or policy in the international arena. Meanwhile, South Korea is worried that redesigning the global supply chain led by the United States is intended to exclude China in a situation where the United States and China are so competitive to seize the initiative of hegemony in the world. More recently, Seoul has decided to join the preliminary meeting of Chip4, so Wang Yi seems to stress that South Korea should not join the US-led efforts to exclude China like Chip4. What Minister Wang mentioned, the need to be free from external influence, seems to make South Korea listen to China's requests as it defines the United States as an external influencer to both countries, South Korea and China. So simply speaking, Beijing wants Seoul to stick to balanced diplomacy or strategic ambiguity. However, South Korea is eager to adopt strategic clarity based on its own national interest maximization.
Right, and talking about national interest, Dr. Ban, as you mentioned, how would then the Yoon administration's possible additional deployment of THAAD affect its ties with neighboring China, do you think?
To begin with, as far as I know, additional deployment of THAAD has not been officially decided yet. What matters more is how to defend South Korea from the military provocations of North Korea armed with nuclear weapons. THAAD systems serve as a small part to do this, actually. So accordingly, as Pyongyang continues and steps up a nuclear program, South Korea should grapple with North Korea by arming itself and bolstering deterrence with an ally, which is the United States. This is the real issue regarding the additional THAAD deployment. So South Korea needs to ask China to make North Korea stop the nuclear program and come to the negotiation table by explaining the inherent background of THAAD deployment. Likewise, as I said earlier, the deployment of THAAD is a sovereign issue that South Korea should decide. So South Korea needs to stress on inherent characteristics of this issue to China. If China might attempt to make this issue become to its relations with South Korea, it will have a negative impact on China's national interests. Beijing is fully aware that the THAAD retaliation made South Koreans, ordinary South Koreans, estranged from China. All in all, China is expected to be different this time because she learned the lessons.
Dr. Ban, staying with that then, how should South Korea perhaps better prepare then for any potential retaliation from China in the case of additional THAAD deployment?
It is a tricky question. However, if China chooses the option of THAAD retaliation in the same way of the past, South Korea should not deal with those retaliations alone. South Korea needs to make countermeasures with an ally and partners by stressing unfair aspects of retaliation. Sovereignty is an internationally driven assurance that applies to all countries in the world. So South Korea needs to emphasize that common countermeasures are a key to protecting international norms and laws. To that end, South Korea needs to expand the scope of countries for cooperation around the world and bolster its relations with key countries. Additionally, South Korea needs to learn the lessons of other countries like Australia that successfully neutralized China's retaliations. That explains why diplomatic strategy matters.
And very briefly speaking, Dr. Ban, what are the chances of having the Chinese leader Xi Jinping visit South Korea this year?
Well, Minister Park Jin invited two persons, but I don't think it is highly possible this year strategically and politically.
I see. All right, Dr. Ban Kil-joo at Inha Center for International Studies, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts.
Thanks for having me.